Good. So, vítajte všetci na prvom, a teda výročnom vyšehradskom slame, ktorý robíme cez Zoom. Chcem sa poďakovať Banskej Bystrici Záhrade a my sme teda Slam Poetry SK, ktorý to organizujeme. Streamuje nás aj Slam Poetry Maďar Orsák a Slam Poetry CZ. Sme veľmi radi, že tu môžeme byť, že môžeme trošku dať dokopy zasa ten európsky slam, keďže majstrovstvá Európy sa odložili vďaka koronavíru. Budete svedkami 4 rozhovorov, 4 slamov, 4 veľmi výnimočných ľudí, alebo teda okrem mňa aspoň 3. A som veľmi rád, že nás pozeráte a ja sa teraz preladím do angličtiny a už pôjdeme iba v angličtine, ale nájdete si potom aspoň na slamy titulky určite. Takže hi everyone. This is before.
I love your language.
Better than before. We have this Visegrad slam, so we slam and we have some interviews with 3 amazing people. There is Anatol Svahilec from Czech Republic.
Hello everybody. Dobrý večer.
He's master of 2014 and he is a slam legend, I think, in Europe and in Czechoslovakia. There we have
ancient legend.
There we have the first slam champion in Poland and the first women's slam champion. And since her, just women wins. So she started the tradition, Rudka Zydel from Poland.
Yay! Hi.
And then we have the Hungarian representant, champion of 2017 and organizer of Slam Poetry Szeged, Péter Meszáros.
Hi, sziasztok.
So this is it. We will have some very short interviews with each of the poets. Each of them will slam. And I'm the host from Slam Poetry SK, or Slovakia. I can tell you we are very busy. Like Slam Poetry Slovakia, we never stream so much. So I want to thank every cultural institution which we work. It's amazing. It's amazing, and we are very thankful. And before we start the interview, I want to slam to you because there is my only chance to slam, I think, in my arsenal. So I make myself big. Yeah. And I start the poem about Slovakia and the thing how we behave to LGBT people, because during the coronavirus start, the most thing, it's not how we solve this. The most thing is the abortions and gay people and why they are bad and very fucked up. So this is poems called God. Ospravedlňujem sa pánovi Mazurekovi, že som v Prahe vyfajčil kamaráta. Ako poľahčujúcu okolnosť uvádzam, že mám modré oči a blondiaté vlasy. Ospravedlňujem sa pánovi Vašečkovi, že ejakulujem mimo pošvy, ale z príjmu umelca si menej traumatizujúci orgazmus skutočne nemôžem dovoliť. Ospravedlňujem sa skutočným vlastencom, že vystupujem na tomto podujatí, ale mama ma učila, že ľudí je treba spájať a nerozdeľovať, že slabým je treba pomáhať a nie do nich kopať a že toho, čo je málo, je vzácne a nie je zvrátené. Že Boh je láska a nie nenávisť. Nebojím sa preto Boha zopnutých rúk, nebojím sa Boha šepkajúceho v klembe katedrál, nebojím sa Boha nemých holubíc, nebojím sa Sorenových dlaní. Nebojím sa tisícok mám, čo deťom klamú o nebíčku. Nebojím sa Rufusových modlitbičiek, vtáčkov maľovaných akvarelom. Anieličku, môj strážničku. Nebojím sa gotických chrličov, vytráži chladu. Nebojím sa Boha žijúceho na nebesiach. Nebojím sa Boha priesvitných stránok papiera, z ktorých sa dobre balia jointy. Nebojím sa katolických škôl s povesťou horšou než stavebné učilištia. Nebojím sa mátoch drmoliacich rúženec, nebojím sa maliarikovho snu o celozemskom univerzálnom štáte, nebojím sa špongí napáchnutých svetenou vodou, Nebojím sa vtisknúť ti krížik na čelo. Gestom starých mám prepojiť všetky svetové strany. Nebojím sa piesne slnka ani oráčov Európy. Bojím sa však Boha nenávistných zliav, náraja, povyšovania. Bojím sa Boha, čo vo vlastnej Biblii zabil viac ciel než Satan. Bojím sa Boha, veriaceho vo vlastnú zvrchovanosť. Bojím sa Boha tej urazenej 14-ročnej hlúpane, ktorá trucuje a zalieča sa a sľubuje a rozkazuje, snáď preto, aby si ju aspoň niekto všimol. Bojím sa Boha, ktorý sa rozhodol ostať v nebesách sám. Bojím sa Boha prikazujúceho jednu polohu a jednu drogu a jednu orientáciu a jednu jedinú malú osamelú pravdu. Bojím sa Boha Führera ovečiek. Bojím sa Boha, ktorý kričí Sieg Heil na Tisovom hrobe. Bojím sa Boha, v ktorého mene je treba zabíjať vždy nových a nových a nových a nových nepriateľov. Bojím sa Boha, ktorý má vždy pravdu. Bojím sa Boha visiaceho zo strieborných krížikov vrahov, pestí spravodlivosti a požehnaných zbraní. Bojím sa Boha, stalkujúceho webkamerou naše spálne. Bojím sa légií, pochodujúcich za život, bojujúcich za život, vyhrážajúcich sa za život, vraždiacich za život. Bojím sa politických preferencií, Kristovej lásky, čistých ras Európy. Bojím sa Boha znásilnených úst. Bojím sa Boha, ktorý sa k nám otočil chrbtom. Bojím sa Boha nevidiacich očí. Slepý odboj, hluchý strach, slašný zlik. Slepí ničia idei snov, slepí vraždia možnosti bytia, hánky slepých sa zabárajú do úst, sánok, lebiek a materníc. Ja im to nechcem. Nesmiem dovoliť. A 12 armád nezastaví môj hnev. A 12 katov nezavraždí môj vzdor. A 1000 hlasov neprehluší môj rev. Milión názorov. Počúvaj, stále spievam. Som hradbou, príbojom, ľadovcom, lodiam. Som silou zbytočne zavraždených. Som. Je exist. Hromady nálepiek na pražských stenách. Je exist, aby svet mal protipol. Je exist. Som terčom úderov. Je exist. Ešte stále, tak trochu som. Polom kráča smrť dní slnečných, slnečný vzdych, slnečný hlas, slnečný tón. Som sám. Ospravedlňujem sa neonacistom, vrahom a všetkým, ktorí nenávidia to iné, že nás musia zastrašovať, mlátiť a často ich vraždiť, meniť kvôli nám ústavy a pľuť nám do očí. Ospravedlňujem sa, ale neuhnem vám ani o milimeter. So, that's all. Good. So you will have subtitles, I hope, because now we don't have. And we start the first of our interview of the European slam poetry scene with Rudka Zydel. Hi, Rudka, how are you?
Hi. I find these questions kind of difficult to answer. I think the correct answer is fine, because I am fine, but at the same time, it is kind of weird, to be honest, to actually figure out what kind of state you're in, what's happening, and how are you even going to measure whether you are fine or not fine, like compared to whom exactly. So, but I guess I'm okay. I'm trying to get by.
Good. How is the art in general and in Poland? Is there something which government do about you, or is there something, some art in this time?
Well, it's difficult to say. They've closed most cultural events pretty quickly. And then it depends on what you mean. Like they've tried with maybe opening museums, maybe not. Like big events were shut down right in the very beginning. Then everything was closed, so most cultural institutions are just working. Like if they can work from home, then that's what they are doing. There are some places that are trying to figure out how to survive in this climate, not only financially, but just not to go insane, basically, to do something and to connect with audiences. So there are theaters who put their plays that were recorded before and they put them online. There were some concerts, like live concerts actually from musicians happening, which is cool. There was actually this thing, it's like an internet challenge that started in the hip hop scene, but then this year it moved to like a bigger picture, let's say. It's called Hot 16 Challenge, and it's you're supposed to write 16 verses, come up with 16 verses with some musical background, obviously, and then nominate other people to do the same. And then they have 72 hours to do it as well. And people put it on YouTube, and together with a link to a kind of GoFundMe sort of site for fighting the virus. So that's actually kind of cool. Some artists have moved their events to the fall, probably hoping that maybe by like October, let's say, it's going to be happening maybe. But then, you know, I mean, they've closed cinemas, which is now actually from this weekend, I think, or like a week from now, they're going to start to reopen cinemas, but within the regime, let's say. So like distances between people and masks inside and all that stuff. Some cinemas have actually managed to put up like VOD kind of streaming platforms that you pay for. It's usually cheaper than the usual cinema ticket, but still it's especially for like small cinemas, it allows them to get by. The Krakow Film Festival actually is doing everything online. You could buy. Really? Yeah, it's and they decided pretty early that they didn't wait for like trying to figure out if it's going to happen or not. They decided pretty early because it's a lot of movies, so it's a lot of work to put it up. But yeah, you could it starts now. I think it started yesterday or something, and then you can buy tickets for like one movie or for the whole festival. They send you the link, and then you can watch it whenever you want within the week that the festival is happening. So that's actually kind of cool. But apart from that, you know, like people try to figure out different ways, like do Zoom or yeah, or record something and then put it on YouTube or something. But it's difficult, especially for the artistic environment, I think, because it's so dependent on the audience. So yeah.
Can you describe maybe because I think we are watched by international slam audience. Can you describe actually the slam scene in Poland? Because we know there is a great fight between let's say Christ and culture in Poland. The great cases with, for example, Maria Peszek or Behemoth. And from the outside, it looks very conservative, the Polish art scene in general. And then you are the first champion, and you are women, and then only women wins. So it's some contrapunct to this, but I love it. So how works the Polish slam scene in normal, and maybe how it works now?
Well, I've been going to poetry slam since 2012, but it all started in 2003. So it's, you know, I haven't really seen the very beginning of it, I guess. It had like some pretty bad years and better years, depending on like what criteria are you basing it on. I think it got better when we sort of organized to do the national championship, because then it used to happen, like poetry slams used to happen mostly in bigger cities, right now, I think there are 2 or 3 active poetry slams in Warsaw, one in Krakow, in Poznań, within the Tree City, especially in Gdańsk, at the seaside. You have Wrocław. They are slowly also starting to happen within like bigger literary events. Finally, they recognize spoken word and slam poetry, and there's quite a lot of people trying to include it in bigger literary events, including like Miłość Festival, for instance, which is a very big festival here in Krakow in June. But mainly because of the championship, because we don't really, to be honest, we don't really have like a national sort of slam organization. There's Fundacja Kulturakcja, which is organizing the championship, but it's based in Poznań, and apart from the championship, there, you know, up to the first one, they take care of, they would take care mostly of the poetry slams that they were doing there. But because of the championship, the organizers started to communicate and cooperate with each other, which is cool. And then more and more people would go and compete in poetry slams in other cities, just to you know, to let themselves be seen, sort of. So there's more of a community, I guess, right now. When I started, I was one of the few women like on the scene at all. Actually, it was Poznań was like a exception, maybe. It was for a long time it was female dominated, I think, but for the longest time it used to be mostly guys, and then it started changing, and with that also came like other sensitivities, I guess, because at the beginning it at least when I started, it was very much humor oriented, and also kind of very performative, sometimes very theatrical, but mostly, you know, it was difficult to be recognized with something that was more intimate, let's say, and conversational. And now it has also changed. But when it comes to, like, I don't know, like the ideological or political kind of thing, I don't know. I think there are some people who claim that it's a leftist idea, who are very unhappy with poetry slams, because but then it's usually people who either put out performances that are just not very good, to be honest, or it's not even that they are more conservative in their point of view. It's rather that they actually say things which tend to be pretty nasty. Okay. And then it doesn't really matter whether you are left wing or right wing. Like, if you're spewing hateful shit, then you're not going to be very welcome. And it is, in the end, the audience who decides. So it's not like if you go into a slam competition, that's something that you have to keep in mind, that in the end the audience is going to decide whether they like it or not, and then, you know. But it's not very political. There have been some political performances. I used to do that too. I used to have like a lot of feminist poems, and now there's also starting to emerge like poems coming from the LGBTQ community. There are also in Warsaw poetry slams which are themed. So, and they started within the more left-wing community, let's say. So they would be about the environment or the climate change or about discrimination. But then but then, you know, from the very beginning that there's a theme of the poetry slam. But for like a normal event, it's usually actually quite diverse, I think. and people come up with a lot of things. A lot of very young people started to come, which is awesome. Like for the last year or two, it's kind of, it got younger, and it's interesting because they come up with a lot of very interesting ideas, interesting way of performing. I don't know, it's just fun to watch. I actually enjoy going and just watching, even if I'm not performing. Just to go and see what people come up with is pretty interesting.
And you do a lot of workshops?
Yes, because well, a friend of mine, a few years ago, was going to do slam poetry workshops in a art high school in Szczecin, and he needed a second person to do it with him because it's just too many kids to handle it alone. So he asked me, and I did it twice with him, and it was awesome. It was really, really, really fun and really satisfying. Sometimes depressing when you realize that they are like half your age, and you read them a poem, or not even a poem, like a lyrics from a song from an artist that is like super important for you because that's like, you know, that's the soundtrack to your first love and first sex and first broken heart, and they have no idea who you're talking about. And it's fucking depressing because then I feel like I'm super old. But then, you know, like really cool things happen, and because it was an art school, so we were pretty free to do whatever. The teachers were not very vigilant as to, you know, that was actually one of the conditions that we had. Like, yeah, we can do the workshops, but they need to be allowed to say whatever they want. Like free speech is super important. So you might
it was a problem.
Yeah, and no, it's like, because, you know, if you're 16, then 90% of your life is school. Yeah. So then if you perform, you're very likely to talk about your school life. And we've said from the very beginning, like, you know, you might, to the teachers, like you might hear something that you may not like, or that, you know, because then they say stuff that they normally wouldn't say to the teachers, even though actually in that school, it was a bit different because it was an art school. So the boundaries were kind of not so stiff. So it was they were much closer with their teachers, and you know, it was different. And then and then I did some workshops within Krakow has like regularly kind of like a, I don't know how to call it, like cultural nights, let's say, like museum nights, when you can go to all museums for free all night, or theater nights, or that kind of stuff. And there's poetry night happening in October. And now during the poetry night, there's a lot of different events all around the city, but also there's a poetry slam, and there's a workshop that I used to do. That's different because that's with adults as well, with people of different ages. And then last year, I've had the opportunity to do like a longer period kind of thing from the Engage project, which is the European Union project for young people for high school students. And it lasted for like 2 or 3 months. So that's a lot of time that you can use to work with these kids. And it ended with a poetry slam during the Miłosz festival, which was incredible. Like the kids were just awesome. They could, I have to say, like if the poetry, the slam poets in Poland need to be on their toes with those kids, because it's going to be hard to compete with them if they decide to. And then a lot of them actually did go to poetry slams later, and one kid actually, one boy won a poetry slam not so long ago. So that was also very cool. And there's, you know, it's really, I don't know, coming up with different exercises, hearing what they think, trying to come up with things that they can read or listen to or watch to inspire them, to help them figure out their own voice, which is the main target of these workshops, actually, just to let them realize that they have the right to speak and to say what they need to say, and that they have the right to be heard, even if they are very young, which is not very common in our culture. Like here, it's like, you know, you're a kid. If I have to pay for your food and give you a roof over your head, then you know, then it's my opinion that counts. There is this kind of thinking within the culture and parents, and and the teacher, like in education as well. It's not very. It's a very hierarchical system. Like it's very, you know, it's not very horizontal. So for them to actually have an opportunity to do that and to say something that they feel they need to say and to be heard can be very important. And it's super important to me, like, because that way I have a feeling like there's a point to what I'm doing, because it is stressful and exhausting, and you know, but it's super fun. So yeah.
And you have some contact with the kids or with slam scene in Poland. It works, the slam scene, or not actually?
Well, it depends where. Like some slam organizers have been trying to figure out a way to do poetry slams online, like do Zoom slams or whatever. But then there's always the discussion whether it's how do you do the voting, if the voting is fair. Because if you put your video on Facebook, then you can send it to all of your friends and they don't even have to watch all the performances. They can just push the like button on you and that's it, without even watching it, which is true. Like that's actually what they can do. That's the problem with that kind of technology. There have been like showcases, so even no voting, just to connect with each other and perform. People are trying to figure out different ways to connect. I think the championship for now obviously is on hold. We don't really know when it's going to happen. So yeah, but people have been trying to put up poetry slams and figure out different ways to connect with the audience, and which can be interesting, because then you can sort of play with the rules. So some poetry slams were very strict, like with all the rules, saying that all the rules, normal rules apply. So like 3 minutes and no music, no instruments, no nothing. But with some of them have been more liberal, to the extent that we've had people putting up poems with like stop motion animation made of like cardboard figurines, or you know. And it's interesting because then you can see the creative mind of that person. Like some people have really awesome ideas that are not limited to just words and poetry. They come up with really interesting stuff. And I don't know, it's like a tryout, brainstorm sort of season, which is good, I guess, because then the whole idea, the whole scene, and the whole form of poetry is not so stiff. It doesn't get I don't know, like, you know how in the States they kind of already make fun of slam poetry? Is not very, you know, it used to be very big, and it is still very big, but they make fun of it as well in like mainstream media. You can find Samuel L. Jackson doing a parody of slam poetry on Jimmy Fallon or something. So yeah, if everyone starts to do sort of the same thing, rhythmically and performatively, then it gets boring. And this way we can sort of stretch our muscles and try different stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Good. Thank you very much for your point of view of the Polish culture and slam. And can you please slam for us?
Yeah, I was actually thinking, because at first I thought that I will write a new poem, but I found it pretty difficult to write about the current situation. Like it's not, I don't know, it's just mind-boggling, to be honest. And so what I decided to do was take a poem that is actually about dying and death. And I thought of it because my parents are over 60 and they both work in public health system. So something that I have been very aware of recently is this idea that that for them it's quite a bit more dangerous than for many other people, definitely more than for me. So like Easter, we would just talk on through FaceTime or something, and trying to figure out how I can, you know, keep in touch with them, but at the same time make sure not to add to the danger, I guess. And they seemed like I had a very strong sense of them being fragile, which is something that you start to think about when you're grown up, about your own parents. So yeah, so that's why that poem. But yeah, okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, can you see me all right?
Yeah.
Kiedy jest śmierć? Śmierć to jest gorący letni dzień w 94, kiedy opycham się w babcinej kuchni pierogami z borówkami rozebrana do majtek, bo kto to będzie potem prał. To są nerwowo biegający wokół dorośli, którzy nic nie tłumaczą. Ktoś szuka zapałek, ktoś wyciera brudną ścierką zakurzoną gromnicę. To jest matka matki mojej matki, tonąca w 4 poduszkach z pierzem, której przynosiłam na talerzu obrane mandarynki. Kobieta w chustce z wychudłymi policzkami, przykryta po samą brodę, o której wiem, że istnieje od pasa w dół z tego jednego zdjęcia tylko, na którym czarno-biała postać biegnie przez podwórko z wiadrem w ręku. To jest ciotka, która mówi, że mamy być bardzo cicho, zanim wprowadzi nas do ciemnego pokoju ze zwiniętym na fotelu 14-latkiem, który świszczy przy każdym oddechu. Przy nim stojak z kroplówką z morfiny, przed którą ludzie przechodzą, tak jak się przechodzi przed ołtarzem. I tylko czekam, aż ktoś się przeżegna i przyklęknie. To jest czyjaś ręka, która nas stamtąd wyprowadza, kiedy świst ustaje, a zamiast niego rozlewa się skowyt przytłumiony zamykającymi się drzwiami. To jest śnieg i przemarznięte ręce zaciśnięte na ciężkim pogrzebowym wieńcu. Czarna aksamitna spódnica z błyszczącą lamówką, stukot grudek ziemi uderzających o drewniane wieko. Moi, twoi, nasi rodzice złożeni szlochem na pół na zimnej podłodze. A potem kaseta z kreskówkami, żebyśmy im wszystkim zeszli z drogi. Śmierć jest wtedy, kiedy mój tata, który 2 dni wcześniej został sierotą, rozkłada ręce bezradnie patrząc na mnie i mówi: była babcia i nie ma. I jakieś chudsze są te ręce od razu, w zbyt szerokich rękawach koszuli, mięśnie jakby zwiotczałe, skóra cieńsza. Zaciskają się splecione palce dłoni ułożonych na kolanach, a on zaczyna kręcić kciukami młynki, dokładnie tak, jak robiła to jego matka. I pyta mnie, czy chce herbatę, chociaż pytał już ze 4 razy. Zapomniał czapki, schował cukier do lodówki, zgubił klucze. Siadam obok niego, myśląc, że kiedyś też tak będę robić. Powtarzać gesty, układać dłonie w magiczne figury w ruchu palców, który raz przyspiesza, raz odwraca bieg czasu. Zależnie od tego, w którą stronę obracają się kciuki. Thanks.
Good. Thank you very much. So, Peter, you have to unmute yourself.
I know. Hi, everyone.
Oh,
I just didn't want to noise everywhere with my beautiful noise, of course.
we like your beautiful noise. Quite some question with you. The Péter Molnár said with one interview I make with him, the slam poetry is the only free speech institution in Hungary left. and depends on who you ask.
Agree to disagree, but I get his point. It's a very shady situation in Hungary in a lot of ways. I can talk about it hours and hours, but I think I'm not really qualified to do it because they don't really knock on my door like, please, Peter, shut up, you can't say anything. I can't say what I want. So I don't really feel that the situation is really that bad. But I understand his position because there are some really fucked situation. Rudka mentioned that, you mentioned that there are some problems with transgender people and the LGBT community. We have the same problems as well because our government took all of the governing power, like a regular governor. They don't really need laws and acceptance from the parliament to vote because of the danger and the situation in Hungary, and that's how they just slipped a lot of other laws in Hungary. For example, for transgender people, they can't qualify themselves on our ID cards as transgender people.
Okay.
If they were born as males, they have to be males for the rest of their lives. They can't change it to females. And it's like, a small thing, but we have plenty of these issues right now. But it's fine. In Hungary, I think everyone is really enraged and polarized, and all of the situation is really about two really loud parties just screaming at each other. So I don't really want to be part of it. I'm more like a middle depressed man. I hate everyone equally.
So the slam poetry, or just Czechoslovakia and Hungary calls it slam poetry because in the world it's poetry slam. But slam poetry in Hungary is a great thing. It's a great thing. You have a great or big exhibition in Budapest, even in Szeged or in Győr. How it works normally? Can you describe it and how it works now during this strange situation?
Last year we had a chance to organize the European Championship, and all of the attendees said to us that we are really well organized in that manner, and we have put a lot of effort to make a national slam poetry Hungary formal governing system or something like that. But the case is when we are artists, mainly artists, and not book accountants and professional organizers. There will always be problems with the organization, and it's fine. We are trying right now. Coronavirus has completely fucked us up, as I feel it. We have tried the same methods like the rest of you, organizing streams and making poetry slam competitions. We have tried one big in Hungary, and Transylvania, the Transylvanian scene are doing much more and much better than us, so it's fine. Yeah. They are really into it. We were like, when the virus hit us, we felt that, okay, that's a good time to, not doing anything and just, licking our wounds and completely ignore everything at all. And we are doing this. We are thinking about how to get better, because right now poetry slam in Hungary are facing the same issues as America in the 20s, in the new millennium, because it's getting boring. It's getting more and more boring, and the new guys, the new talents are not really into it. They are more like making SoundCloud raps, and then they are feeling that they can't get girls from poetry slam. It's getting weird and cringy and more like big scarved artsy girls talking about their exes and bad relationships, and we are feeling that something has to change, some new ways has to develop, and maybe doing spoken word, maybe doing maybe focusing more and more about the acts, the performances, and the actual texts. It can be a good way. We are trying to think about it. We are trying to organize a lot of workshops, going to schools and talk about this stuff, and it's getting more and more mainstream in Hungary. We are having pretty interesting opportunities, job opportunities to go to big corporations and then just be hosts, because Puerto Islam is trendy and so hip. He's a slammer. He can do shit, baby. Yeah. Just talk about HR. Talk about planning or programming. Wow, you can do it. You are a Puerto Slammer. And of course, a lot of us are doing it because money. We have to do it. We have to live from something. But it's always a big decision. What to choose, what to push away. This virus was good for us to stop and then think about: do we need a lot of competitions? We are having independent clubs in mainly every big city in Hungary. I'm talking about 20 scenes in Hungary, and it's a lot. We don't have enough big and good talents to do it, and a lot of audience are feeling that okay, it's tiring. It's always the same faces all around Hungary, and we are thinking about slowing down and focusing on quality content.
I think that the biggest scene now is in Europe. It's a German scene. They connect with Austrian scene, German, and
huge.
Yeah, huge. And they're all German-speaking countries. But you do something similar in Hungary. That you have the scenes in Slovak, like slam poetry Felvidek. You have these Transylvania guys. Some Serb guy wrote me yesterday if we have some Hungarian talents in Slovakia, which is amazing. How it works.
It's really interesting because Puerto Islam is a very good way for Hungarians to connect across borders, because after the World War I, there was a big rip in Trianon. 2/3 of the Hungarian field was taken away, and a lot of Hungarians left in other countries. And right now, Puerto Islam and creating Puerto Islam and creating Puerto Islam scenes is a very good way to connect with each other. And they are really into it, and they are very talented because they have a special way of thinking. They have a special way of speaking about these issues, like bilinguality and being a minority. It's very good, and they are. You should definitely check out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Because my internet connection is unstable, just like me. Yay! Perfect. Cool.
Good. It's very nice.
And connecting to Germany, we are trying to develop some ways and some techniques from the German scene, like doing 1-versus-1 slams and doing other type of voting systems. Like there's a scene in Germany where they can use clippers, like clips. I don't know how to say it in English. Where you these tools helps you hang your clothes. I don't know their name.
Yeah.
And the audience after the show, the audience are using these clippers to go to their choice and just put it on there. And if someone has the more clippers, he wins. It's creepy, but it's fucking fun.
It can be creepy.
It is creepy, but the audience just really loves it. And like, I'm gonna clip this guy. I love him.
It's creepy, but it's fun.
Yeah. Especially when the two of it. Yeah. So we are
I haven't
experimenting.
seen that, have I? Okay.
Sorry, Rudka.
You will never get it out of your head.
No,
So
I
it's
won't.
fun. We are experimenting and trying new ways to connect, because right now it's just tiring, and the poetry slam scene in Hungary in general, I can say it, but maybe they will fight me against it. I don't give a fuck. It's getting tired.
Yeah. Oh,
But it's still beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah, and I really love because all Hungarian slammers like girls living in Slovakia now. So it's very fun. Like the best female slammers. It's the great female slammers in Slovak and in Hungary at the same time. So, and it's very nice. They can compete in the Hungarian championships, but and in Slovak. So, it's quite nice. Good. So thank you very much, Peter. Can you slam for us?
Okay. I've brought an older one, slightly reshaped in English, because I think maybe it's the best way to speak to all of you. Sorry about my pronunciation. It has always been bad. I don't know why.
I love your accent.
Yeah, I have a very weird accent. Hungarian language, for the broader audience, someone said to me that it's like chickens raping each other, and that's why when I'm speaking in English, it's more like fighting chickens.
It's the language of Mordor. That's
yeah, language of Mordor. That's sad for me. So
yeah, and Peter, do the jingle. Do the jingle, please.
Okay, V4, like never before. So this poem is about bad ideas. No one is perfect. Everyone has bad ideas, like me. I started my piece with this cliche to sneaky grab your attention and grow more and more complicated word flowers for our audio-visual entertainment to reach a spiritual, orgasmic climax. So, bad ideas. According to my father, it was a bad idea to marry my mother. According to my mother, it was a bad idea to have a child with him in advance to save their marriage. I think otherwise. According to my father, it was a bad idea to ask for a pregnancy test. According to my mother, it was a bad idea to cheat on him. I always thought that I was adopted and I am the seed of Madonna, Prince Harry, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates shared love and happiness. According to my mother, it was a bad idea to mention them in my poem. According to my father as well. You see, even I can have some bad ideas occasionally. It was a bad idea to let my girlfriend study overtime with her classmate Robert, who are only friends with, but I knew they hooked up a long time ago and she still has feelings for him. God fucking damn it, Wanda, how could you do this to me? It was a bad idea to write some stupid, rhythmical sentences in Hungarian to impress the online audience and completely forgot that half of you are probably listening to me as a background noise, meanwhile rubbing your balls and streaming Netflix. Bad ideas. Azt a naparanya hajnal van. Oh yes, the sun is gold, it's dawn. Basznak a madarak az ablakban. The birds are having sex in the window. Kicsalogat az idő, csepereg a nyugalom. The time is luring, the calmness is dropping. Szemben a néni kukába pisil. Front of you, an old woman is peeing in a trash bin. What? Hamot szorog a gyomor, beszarok a vonaton. If I have raging diarrhea, I release myself in a train. Áfa számla igényét kérjük előre jelezze. Please state your request of a VAT number beforehand. What? No one is perfect. Everyone has bad ideas. Bad idea. Saying no homo after hugging your children so they won't get the wrong idea. Bad idea. An alarm clock that sends dick pics to your ex-girlfriends if you don't wake up. Bad idea. A double or nothing option to ATMs. Bad idea. Random 1 in 1,000 cars that have confetti in place of their airbags. Hang on a minute. It's kind of cool. You'll drive more safely because you wouldn't know or not. Happy birthday, John. Oh, he's just dead. Bad idea making pedals for wheelchairs if your arms gets tired. Terrible idea. play the Tetris theme song when lowering the coffin at the funeral, making Adam Sandler movies, making €0 paper bills, buy an expensive girl to impress your car, taking coronavirus less seriously and wipe out whole elderly homes, taking coronavirus more seriously and wipe out the whole entertainment industry, governors of the Visegrad countries, writing online poetry slams and waiting for a single reaction from the audience. Do it anyway, because at least for some minutes, you feel that your life is not a complete waste of fucking shit. Bad idea blaming your own lack of talent and motivation and fill your emptiness with psychedelics and making castles with pizza boxes around you. Answering nothing to every what's wrong question. Write to her, sorry, wrong number. Crying in front of your father's apartment, blaming him. Watching the Kardashians. Shooting yourself with smaller caliber bullets to build up an immunity to the larger ones. Saying this to you.
Do it again.
Lol.
So, Péter Meszáros.
Before. Like never before.
No. The situation which happens in London in the Azal government during the Second World War. The Slovak guy and the Czech guy will speak English together. Very strange.
I'm ready.
So, let me introduce you. Anatol Svahilec, the champion of Czech Republic 2014, I believe, 15?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me.
So, Anatol, I have a lot to ask you. It's very strange because
it was just like beautiful metaphor, like historical, which you use. I appreciate that. Like honestly, I appreciate that. Thank you for it.
It's been this week was.
Now we should explain it, right?
Yeah. I don't start with the Gabčík and Kubiš. I swear. So, Anatol, you are the most active slammer in Czech Republic, and some will tell you created the Czech scene because you bring the scene in the very small towns and cities during the map, and even you bring some in Slovakia. So, can you describe the Czech scene before the virus, after virus? And maybe this is the great thing you did in Czech Republic, and that this great protest slams. Anatol was slamming against the government before hundreds, thousands of people, which is amazing. You can bring slam poetry to this level. So can you describe this? Like what is the Czech slam scene and what is this derivatives of it?
Oof, okay, seems to be like a lot of questions. The first, like I should say definitely. Then I just wasn't be the guy who just started. This is definitely not true. Czech scene is dated to 2003. There was the first championship in Olomouc, and I think maybe we could consider 2002 maybe like some first events, and that's it. Yeah, it just happened. It wasn't only me, like 5 or 6 years ago, and we just were able to grab the gender to regions, which is the main thing, which is dead now, or it's not dead now because it's working. It's working somehow, and I'm super excited about that. We were able to arrange like maybe I think it was a first live Czech performance after the virus or like the government said, and it's okay to do like a smaller events. So it was just last Friday, and we arranged it in like let's say like a smaller village around Prague. It was supposed to happen just like it was arranged like I don't know, like 4 months ago, and then we said like hey, it's okay, it's possible now to do in Czech Republic events till 300 visitors, but you need to keep like distances and stuff.
You make barbecue on this event. How?
What?
Sorry? Barbecue on this event.
Yes, it's like, yeah, but yeah. It just like was possible, and there was on Friday there was a limit of 100. Since this Monday, it's possible to do it for 300, and I think like since 22nd of June, it would be possible to do it like for like 1,000 people. So like festival organizers are like yeah, let's see, and we like everybody just hope it's gonna be fine. Then it's really not like some strange of chimera of health or something, and it's really just like don't do things worse, like a second wave and all of the kind of ideas. So we are back in business, I hope, somehow. The events are going to be arranged, and it's going to happen somehow. Regions start work, which is it's complementary, let's say, because like on some events there is no real ambition to have there like more than 100 visitors. Sometimes like in I don't want to pull like a certain city, but like in some cities there were like events for like 12 people, which is fine and like super safe for those times. So let's do it. And actually just next week we're gonna do like a first exhibition. Oh, touch my face, sorry. We're gonna do like a first really first exhibition in Opava, which is like a pretty big city, like 60,000 inhabitants, which is like, I think, pretty big hood. And there was like no like a, let's say, like a competitive slam event before. So I think like that's a pretty good city to start, let's say, a bit of like a broken season. And even yesterday there was an event in Pilsen, which is like a super cool, let's say, like local scene, like a fourth biggest city in Czech Republic. You've been there, Tomáš, and I'm not sure, Péter, you weren't invited in Pilsen, right? You weren't just in Prague, or were you in Pilsen? No? Okay, no matter. Oh, you went just in Prague. Yeah, so but it's a pretty big scene, and there's like an event every month. So since this end of May, it's going to be happen in a regular period, let's say. And I think a lot of members of Czech and even like Moravian scene, which is also like very important. It's still a Czech Republic, but let's say there is some difference between like a Czech and Moravian scene. There are centers of like a Czech scene, that's Pilsen and Prague. Then there is Olomouc. It's mostly connected with the university programs who helps with developing of the scene. So both of the scenes, Czech and the Moravian, are the performers of the scenes were able to get some time to do more texts. That's the first thing. The second thing is then the scene there, which includes, let's say, I don't know, maybe I could say 50, 70, maybe up to like 100 performers. It's like so huge. Then even me, let's say, and I'm doing like just slam stuff last, let's say, 2 years or maybe like 4 years, I don't know. So like some people I'm meeting after, I don't know, like 9 months. So I don't really could say like properly how is it, but if I look at the calendar of the slam organizers, we are still have an opportunity to be like united. It's still like one group of people not annoyed to each other too much, so we can collaborate, and it looks great. Of course, there are like great fishes which were supposed to be fried, but we are not able to make it. There was supposed to be an event on Colors of Ostrava, which is like one of the biggest music festivals, and yeah, maybe I could say it's like the biggest music and cultural festival in the Czech Republic in Ostrava. Last year there was an event for like 1,000 and I think like there was like 1,200 visitors there just for slam, which was like the biggest event in history of the Czech scene. It was supposed to be done again. It's cancelled, of course, but I think really like I just hope then that feeling then Czech scene is rising and developing and stuff. It's going to be continued, and the virus it's not going to be a real pain in the ass of the process. And even the more organizers are getting to be alive on a scene, which is great. It's bad to use the word alive and virus. Sorry for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are one of 2 or 3 people maybe which live only by slam in Czechoslovakia, or 2 in Czechs.
Yeah.
And the scene grows amazingly big in Czech Republic, I think, in the last 5 years. Can you compare it? Can you compare maybe the feeling of the scene before 5 years and now? Because now you was in national television last month. Then this great protest for 300,000 people, which is
protest.
Can you maybe tell more about this cultural movement in Czech Republic and your position in it?
Okay. The scene is really large, of course, from a point of view of the topics which people pick. I could say, where to start? I think there was for sure like a certain move of a people in the same age. Let's say my age. I'm 26, and a bit younger, a bit older people who just entered the scene. Also, thanks to a guy who was just next to me, because he's on my roommate. I could show him. This is Honza Kara. Can you please wave on a scene? This is the guy, and whoever, and he was
dance.
One of the, and like we were the organizers of a really, let's say, like a punk event in Nymburk, which is like 50 kilometers from Prague, and it was a really, like, I have to say, like a milestone event just in front of him, I need to say, because it was like a small event for like 50 people in a like a really great cozy bar in a town, and it was a slam event where me and some of my other colleagues, let's say, realized that it's possible to do it like that. It's possible to do it for people who do not live in cities, like a real, like a big cities, and we are able to earn some money from it. And so like that kind of like my, let's say, professionality, then I'm able to earn enough money to or like for living with slam, with this. It was a process who started somewhere there. There was like January 2015, and like more and more those like local events, or like let's say there were like more opportunities for people to do slam, and it was like, hey, like we need a guy to that kind of festival, to that kind of event, write something new and come with us. So I think like that helped a lot with like a developing of the scene, because like more performers, more opportunities, and also I could feel then at least last 2 years there are also like a people who are like younger than me, or Philip, which is like, let's say, like main colleague of mine, and he's one of those two people on a Czech scene who are able to do this for living, let's say, but like his activities are much more wider. So there are like new organizers who are like, I think we just developed some know-how and they could use it now. That's it. And yeah, you mentioned the protest because let's say the political situation in the Czech Republic is like, I think it's like a frog in a pot, and the fire is like very, very, very super slow, and it's like some kind of, from my point of view, it's like full of like small pieces of problems and small steps against the rules, the rules which worked and now are changed somehow. There was a just like 2 or 3 days ago, there are 3 new members to like not like a state TV, it's like a public service TV, and those 2 guys are like, I think I could use even an F word for some of those, like a very conservative, very like unprofessional from point of view of journalism, I could say, and I'm absolutely not the only one. So yeah, so I think the Czech scene want to join somehow, because the spoken word is like a perfect way how to express let's say anger on the first place, and then some ideas, and then it could make some sense together. So it would be just helpful even for some kind of thing. So we started to collaborate with like some people from a scene, because as I said, scene is huge. So it's me and let's say like up to 10, maybe 20 performers, and we are collaborating with a movement called Milion chvilek pro demokracii, like 1 million moments for democracy, which started like a petition, you know, like a sign up activity, and it just ended up in a really huge protest movement, which was able to arrange 2 demonstrations in Prague last year, which included like 300,000 people in Prague, which was like absolutely incredible, and we were able to be part of it, to do a slam there, like a 2 people each event, so there were like 4 people included in those events, and it was something like absolutely incredible from like personal point of view. It's still like I just it was just strange to have under the stage amount of people, which could it like amount of people, and for it's possible to express the number when you use 1 million, which it's just strange. And but it wasn't the only thing, and I think the importance of this joinment of those events is basically to go to at least like a department cities and even like towns, to demonstrations, and to be part of the events, the protest events as a speakers, because I think it's great to join the idea. Maybe it's even about some certain topic, but you could join it like to cheer people up a bit, to show a different type of a protest through let's say satire, fun, and yeah, it's like I'm just I'm just like this week I'm working on a Wikipedia article, because I'm a Wikipedia geek, so about a Czechoslovakian movement fighting with the Bolsheviks in the real end of totality in Czechoslovakia, with like happenings and fun and stuff. And I think like that's the way, and also like Czech scene is much about fun. It's I think like a majority of the topics. It's going down a bit. I think I think the layers it just balanced somehow. It's really fine, but it's basically about fun. And to help it to get the attention and to express the idea, for example, from point of view of the fun, which is suitable for Czechs, I guess. So it works. And actually, the last my last sentence, also the Corona story, there was a collaboration between that initiative and slammers, and there should be like a demonstration in every of 13, I guess, department cities in through all Czech Republic, and on each of those events in every department city, at least one performer was supposed to be included, but it was like 2 or 3 cities were done, and then just like it wasn't shut down in that exact date, like 10th or 12th of May. That's it. I was long again.
Yeah, maybe last thing. It was very nice to see the Czech scene during the coronavirus, because even from first week you do this thing with parallel police.
It was the first day actually.
So in the first day of quarantine, we have 30 slammers there. Czech, Slovaks, mix.
No. It's too much. No,
you know what I mean.
There was an event. It was on like it was, I think, like 10th of March, and the government said then it's not possible to do cultural events up to 30 people, and also like since Wednesday schools were shut down and all like public institutions and I don't know what. So that was like let's say what are we gonna do? And I just grab a phone and to do a call to a friend of mine, Roman Tic in Paralelní polis, which is very specific center of technology, culture, and 3D printers and just whatever. And they have a podcast studio with a camera. So and I just called him and I just said, hey, shall we do like an online exhibition? Like I could get like at least 10 people there just in like 4 or 5 hours. It's no problem. They're like they are from Prague or like close to Prague. And he said, yeah. It just happened just like 2 hours after the announcement or like the law just like were applied, and thanks to that event in Paralelní polis, some kind of like real broadcasting was established, and it just worked for 2.5 months. Actually, like just today, we gonna do like like let's say the last live broadcasting from like very last broadcasting from like the Corona nights, So and it just happened. It just happened just during the Corona, and it happened also thanks to a Czech slam. And you ask how many people were there? There was like 27 people, including me, 27 performers, including I think like 4 videos of people who send them like of that very day, and we were able to do it. It's still public, and it took like 3 hours. Some of performers performed there like twice or 3 times. I don't know. It was incredible, and just like FU crisis.
Word is mightier than coronavirus. Good. Can you slam for us, please?
Definitely. I would like to perform a text like it's maybe my really only text which I could consider as a serious one. It was written for a performance in Hungary in a European Championship in 2018 with Mark Smith. So I really tried pretty hard to write a good text, and it's called Encyclopedia of Bridges of My Country in Czech, and it's going to be in Czech. Encyklopedie mostů České republiky. It goes like this. Existuje most přes řeku Otavu v malém městě jménem Písek, postavený ve 13. století a nyní je nejstarším zachovalým mostem v mojí zemi. Existuje most pojmenovaný po králi a římském císaři Karlu IV. Přes řeku Vltavu, postavený z kamenů, písku a malty a podle legendy také z vajec, vyobrazený na mincích mojí země, kde je nutné mít povolení od soukromé společnosti k vykonávání všech typů umění na tomhle mostě. Existuje most ve městě, kde jsem vyrost, přes řeku Radbůzu, který postupně používaly armády Rakouska-Uherska, Československa, Třetí říše, Sovětského svazu, pak znovu Sovětského svazu 23 let potom a i moje babička při pravidelné cestě na štědrovečerní večeři, a to vše v posledních 105 letech. To jsou 2 body pro Sověty a 2 body pro babičku. Existuje hraniční železniční most přes řeku Moravu u Břeclavi, klíčový železniční spojení pro vlaky Wehrmachtu do Rakouska a na Slovensko s protektorátem Čechy a Morava, který odboj v mojí zemi nedokázal zničit kvůli nedostatku prostředků a strachu z německých represí. Existuje most přes Labe, pojmenovaný po prezidentovi, který vykopal skoro 3 miliony německy mluvících občanů mojí země ven z mojí země, kde začátkem května roku 1945 bylo více jak 15 lidí hozeno do vody, anebo zabito a potom hozeno do vody a některá těla se našla i v Drážďanech, a to včetně kojenců. Existoval středověký most přes Močály u města Most, jakože most, které zmizelo v 60. letech kvůli povrchové těžbě hnědého uhlí potřebného pro socialistické hospodářství mojí země. Od počátku 70. let taky v Praze existuje krátký dálniční most v blízkosti bývalého sídla ústřední výboru komunistické strany Čech a Moravy, Československa, který by se dal případně odstřelit v případě opakování invaze vojsk Varšavské smlouvy do mé země. Existuje taky most u Národního divadla, který uzavřela veřejná bezpečnost během pokojné demonstrace proti režimu 17. listopadu 1989. Takže studentský demonstranty to nahnalo do ulice, kde pořádkové síly zmlátili do krve a zpřelámali jim kosti, což byl počátek procesu zvaného sametová revoluce, protože nikoho neutloukli k smrti. Od chvíle, kdy jsem se narodil, 5 let potom, nemůžu najít moc mostů na bankovkách, protože moje země je posraná z toho přijmout euro jako národní měnu. Žádný pořádný mosty k přemostění sociálních a rasových rozdílů. Žádný mosty, jenom zákopy mezi městama a venkovem volících proti sobě v hádce, kam má moje země směřovat. Žádný mosty, který může přejít každý bez toho, aniž by někdo poukazoval na jeho názor, pohlaví, možnosti, příležitosti nebo náboženství. Mosty, který by přinesly historickou zkušenost mojí země do současnosti, protože moje země je v zásadě mostem obývalým 10,5 milionama lidí mezi anglosaským a východním a orientálním mlýnským kamenem silnějším, těch silnějších, kteří vždy považovali moji zemi za nic moc jiného, než za most k cestě za jejich vlastním cílem nebo prosperitou. Tak snad příště po mostě a ne do řeky nebo dolů po dálnici. Znova. So that was my really only serious text of my presence. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I have to say, to complete what Anatol was saying, that Slovak scene is quite of derivate or the bastard brother of the Czech scene, because we cannot exist without them. So thank you very much for it. And yeah, you know, actually Slovak scene is the big part of Slovak scene is Hungarian girls. And a big part of Slovak scene is Czech slammers. So yeah, we are maybe the youngest sibling. But
I just love it. How European is it?
Yeah. So this is the point. This is the point why we do the V-Slam, because you know, we four. So I want to thank very much to Rudka Zydel from Poland. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Péter Meszáros and his slam, and Anatol Svahilec.
Já taky moc děkuju. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
My name is
If I can just say one thing, sorry, before we finish, because I don't know if you've heard about this, but apparently in Szczecin, which is a city on the Polish-Czech border, border is basically the river. Since the lockdown, people have been putting up signs on both sides, Czech people and Polish people, signs saying that they miss each other.
Yeah.
So I thought that this is a really cool thing that's happening. I've been there. I've been slamming actually with Anatol in Hraníc, which is right near to Czech.
It was just It was a year ago. It was almost certainly a year ago.
Yeah, just a year ago we would be doing slam poetry in a library in Hraníc. So it was really nice to see you all, and hopefully I really hope to see you very soon in like a normal
in person
circumstances. Just being able to hug you all and listen to you all. So I hope you go through this shit healthy, and that everyone around you stays healthy. And see you soon, I hope.
Yeah, I hope we can arrange some offline slams.
Yeah, and thank you for the Slovakian scene to organize it. Thank you, Tomáš. It was a
pleasure
for us.
Tomáš,
thank you very much.
You've been super patient with us, so thanks.
No, I love you all. So I have to thank Bystrica Záhrada, I have to thank Fond na podporu umenia, and thank you all for watching, for sharing our experience. And I'm actually very happy we can record it, because without the European Championship, it's a way how to bond the scene together again. And hope we will have a lot of international slams in Hungary, Poland, Slovak, Czech Republic, anywhere. Thank you very much. Love you all. And
love you all, guys.
This is V4 Slam.
See you. Bye.
See ya.
V4, better than before.
Better than before.
Thanks.